Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us on this beautiful Tuesday night in America. It's beautiful if you're living in any other state than California right now, who's under siege by the Marxist Dems and professional agitators. We're going to get to that in just a few moments, but first I want to get to some news of the day, some news that's not dominating the headlines, but I think it's still important for you folks to all know about. Last week, I sat down with House Oversight Chairman James Comer, and we spoke in depth about the Biden auto pen scandal. Some former Biden aides are now set to testify before his committee as early as 2 weeks from today. Neera Tanden, who's the former director of domestic policy, is showing up before the committee on June 24th. Anthony Bernal, former senior advisor to the First Lady, on June 26th. Ashley Williams, former deputy director of Oval Office operations, on July 11th. That's a very important position. Will Scharf, if you follow the Trump administration, currently holds that job right now. He's constantly by the president's side, handing him the executive orders, but also throughout the day, spending a lot of time with him. And Annie Tomasini, former deputy chief of staff, on July 18th. These are the four that have agreed to sit down with Congressman and House Oversight Chairman James Comer and his committee. Still waiting for a date, as he had subpoenaed the former White House doctor, Mr. O'Connor. You know, that's the man who said that Biden's in great health, everything's good with him. Didn't tell us that the president of the United States, the sitting president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, of the free world, had prostate cancer, said that he was cognitively there, even though he didn't take cognitive tests. Just not the things you'd want to hear from a man who's taking care of, as I said, the most powerful man in the world, a man who can launch attacks on a very slew of nations at any given time. So sort of interesting, and we're going to monitor that situation and keep you posted. Also happening in the House today, House Republicans have introduced legislation for a northern border security bill. You know, the border with Canada that President Trump started the whole tariff war over Canada. House Republicans say that the prior bill that they had is outdated. Security policies and critical staffing shortages at the United States and Canada border, directing some much-needed focus to the northern border as the southern border receives more media attention. Drugs still do pour through that northern border, which is what President Trump took massive issue with. Fentanyl from China, also illegals going through Canada to come down to the United States. In some foreign policy news, President Trump spoke with Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday about making a deal with Iran. President Trump still not being pressured by Netanyahu to launch an all-out barrage of missile attack on Iran. President Trump telling Netanyahu, although the talks are stalling a tiny bit between Iran and the United States on them giving up their nuclear weapons, President Trump is still not interested in going and taking military action just yet. He believes that he is able to get this done diplomatically and have them give up their enriched uranium, or if they have weapons that are already developed, having them hand them over or to a third party without, as I said, using military action. So some stories of the day that you're not really hearing about in the mainstream media or anywhere because everyone's so focused on the big story, which we're going to turn to right now. The riots last night, not as bad as they've been, but not getting much better. President Trump acknowledging that today in the Oval Office. We're going to bring you all those sound clips in just a few moments. But let's talk about the big picture here and what's going on. This is a summer of love repeat all over again. And I think President Trump acknowledged that that's exactly what's going on. He was asked about it earlier in the Oval Office, and he reminisces on some regrets that he possibly had back in 2020. Take a listen.
You have to remember, I've been here before, and I went right by every rule, and I waited for governors to say, send in the National Guard. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it, and they just wouldn't do it. It kept going on and on, got worse and worse. And in Minneapolis, that city was burning down 7 days, and I said, I don't care. The governor, who's a governor that just happened to be running for vice president, a total, you talk about an incompetent governor, he's an incompetent person. That he was picked. Well, I was actually very happy he was picked for other reasons. But this guy wouldn't call the National Guard. And we ultimately just sent in the National Guard. We stopped it. But that was after 7 days. And I said to myself, if that stuff happens again, we've got to make faster decisions because they don't want to do it. The radical left, it's usually radical left, and it's usually governors that are Democrat, and they don't want to call them in. They don't want to save lives. They don't want to save property. They don't want to call them in. I don't know what it is. We sent them in, not early, we sent them in late as far as I'm concerned. But big problems, as you know, 3 nights ago, big problems were ensuing. If we didn't send in the National Guard quickly, right now, Los Angeles would be burning to the ground.
And it's pretty close to that. Donald Trump, absolutely right. I think he should have sent them in on the first day. I don't think he should have even waited the 2 or 3 days. We now have reports from Gavin Newsom saying that President Trump, of course, spoke with Gavin Newsom, but Newsom denied it. So what did President Trump do? He sent screenshots of his text message chain or whatever with Gavin Newsom to Fox News, and they aired it on Fox News. Newsom is a liar. Now, I'm not sure what Newsom is doing right now, if he's positioning himself to run in 2028. I think that's what we probably all assume he's doing. But the man is a total moron. His city is being overrun by Marxist Dem professional agitators, illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, whatever you want to call them. They're illegals. And he's sitting back there and trying to put the blame on Donald Trump for trying to help this man. Donald Trump is attempting to maybe help this man save face a little bit and not have his entire city or state burned to the ground. I mean, it's truly asinine on Newsom's behalf. He should heed the help from President Trump. Get this thing put to rest, to put to bed, and move on. But he doesn't want to. President Trump was asked earlier today about the Insurrection Act. Take a listen.
If there's an insurrection, I would certainly invoke it. We'll see. But I can tell you last night was terrible. The night before that was terrible. We have, as you've seen, it was on most of your networks, people with big, heavy hammers pounding the concrete and pounding curbs, pounding it, breaking up, and handing these big chunks of concrete to people. And they were taking that concrete, going up on bridges and dropping it into the roof of a car. They were throwing it at our police. They were throwing it at our soldiers that are there. And we got it stopped, and we have them in custody right now. Look, if we didn't get involved, right now, Los Angeles would be burning, just like it was burning a number of months ago with all the houses that were lost. Los Angeles right now would be on fire, and we have it in great shape. We're not playing around.
How will you determine whether or not there is an insurrection?
Well, you take a look at what's happening. I mean, I could tell you there were certain areas of Los Angeles that you could have called it an insurrection. It was terrible. But these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. They get money. And when you take a look at what they do, where they show up and everyone's saying, what's he doing? He's pounding the curbs. This one guy's pounding the curb, breaking the curb, and handing big pieces of granite. In some cases, it's granite and concrete to other people. And they're running out with it. And then we watch the other people, and they try and throw it into the face of the soldiers, throw it into the face of the police, and they hurt some people very badly. They go up on bridges, they drop it down on the cars as the cars are moving. They're not breaking the curb because they're doing a demolition service. They're breaking it to hand out to people as a weapon. It's bad stuff. I've never seen that before.
I wish President Trump would have already declared an insurrection, because that's exactly what it is. Waiting all this time, I don't think does anybody any good. We look at what the Marxist Dems did during January 6th. They had the FBI at these people's doors the next day, banging on grannies' doors, arresting them, making them sit in prisons for years. No trial, no charges, making their lives hell. Yet we're letting illegals who don't belong in this country in the first place, who are here illegally, we're letting them overrun our cities. Why? What benefit does that pose for anybody to let these people be destroying our cities, our towns, our cars, our ways of lives? Looting. Of course, the looting's back. Why wouldn't it be? Free stuff. The Apple store, the Adidas store, Wherever you want to go shopping, you just go. It's free. Why not? Even if you get caught, what are they going to do to you? They're going to arrest you and let you out in an hour? Folks, we're going to take a quick break here. When we return, we've got some new polling numbers for you. What are the American people saying about this all? Do they support President Trump? Do they still overwhelmingly support his agenda on mass deportations of illegals? What are they saying? What's the mainstream media saying? We're going to tell you when we return. So much more to get to. The Marxist Dems are absolutely losing this fight. They're losing their minds. And we're here to enjoy it and call them out on it. Folks, we're coming right back with the Great America Show. Please stay with us. So much more to come. We're coming right back, I promise, in just a moment.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks for staying with us to our quick, short commercial break. We appreciate you doing that, and we appreciate you joining us each and every night here on the Great America Show. A quick reminder, if you're joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, wherever you're joining us, please be sure to follow us on our new YouTube page at The Great America Show, where we broadcast the show live each and every night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, at The Great America Show on YouTube. We're trying to really grow that channel up to have another avenue, another outlet to push the message of this show. Also, please be sure to follow us on our new Instagram page at The Great America Show on Instagram. We appreciate it. So what are the voters, what are the American people saying about President Trump and his massive deportations? New Morning Consult poll out today, and I don't usually use any other polling aside from Rasmussen, our good friends Mark Mitchell, because they do such a great job. But new polling out from Morning Consult, 51% of Americans approve of what Donald Trump is doing right now on immigration, the overwhelming deportations of illegal aliens, of illegal criminals. 51% still support him. That is a number out this morning after these raids started. So the American people are still on Donald Trump's side. CNN can't believe it. Harry Etten over there is having an absolute meltdown because he can't believe that after these Marxist rioters taken to the street, that Americans could still support Donald Trump and his massive deportations. Let's take a listen to these Marxist meltdown on CNN.
You know, if we just take a look at the baseline numbers here, this is Trump's net approval rating on immigration. It's gone up like a rocket. Compare now versus 8 years ago during Trump's first term. Look at this. In his first term, Trump was way underwater at minus 21 points. But look at this. He's up over 20 points. Now, in the aggregate, he is in positive territory at plus 1 point on his net approval rating. Some other polls even have it a little bit higher than that. There is no issue on which Trump is doing so much better than he was in his first term, more than the issue of immigration. No wonder the Times has written up the way that he is. Trump is begging for a fight on this because he knows what he's doing so far is working with the American electorate.
Where does immigration rank on issues for him? How is he doing compared to others?
Yeah, so I think what's so important is it is his top issue so far. And the reason it is his top issue is because take a look at the individual nuggets in here. Why are people approving of Trump on immigration, approve of these different immigration actions while Trump's administration's program to deport those here illegally? Look at this, 54% approval. How about agents searching your hometown for those that they think are here illegally? Again, positive territory here, above 50% for Donald Trump. So it's not just on the broad issue of immigration where Trump is doing well. It's on the specifics. When you dive into the issues, Trump is above 50% and his actions are above 50%, at least with those most directly connected to what's going on right now out in Los Angeles.
So Donald Trump, the president, picking a fight on this, and to an extent, you see Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, a Democrat, and the California Governor Gavin Newsom pushing back. So what do voters see in terms of their perceptions of Republicans, the president, or Democrats, say Gavin Newsom, on this issue?
Yeah, the American electorate believe that the Democrats don't have a clue on the issue of immigration. I mean, you could just take it here. Closer to trust more in immigration, Democrats versus Republicans. Got 3 different polls for you across the board. They all tell the same story. Republicans lead on the issue of immigration. You see it here, CBS +6. You see it here, CNN +6. You see it here, Ipsos, even bigger, +19. No matter what poll you look at, no matter which way you cut it, the American public is with the Republicans. The American public is with Donald Trump, and to a much greater extent than they were in term number 1. And it's not just on the broad issue of immigration, it's on the specifics as well, in which the American public is with Donald Trump and the Republicans. And that is why Donald Trump is eager to take on this fight and eager for those scenes out of Los Angeles.
I was just going to use that word eager. This explains some of that eagerness to push forward ever more on this as it escalates. Harry, and thank you very much for.
Notice he didn't have any Rasmussen reports polling in there because those polling numbers would go way through the roof. So there you have it. This is what the American people want. So why isn't Gavin Newsom on board? Why isn't Mayor Karen Bass on board? Who the heck votes for these people? Gavin Newsom couldn't care less about his constituents. Karen Bass couldn't care less about her constituents. We watched what happened just a few months ago with the wildfires and how she played politics throughout that. These people don't care about us. They don't care about what we voted for. Donald Trump won the national popular vote. He managed to swing 1 million votes to the right in California. You look at what he did in Beverly Hills, deep blue Beverly Hills, as these people's businesses got looted. I mean, it's remarkable that this is the situation we're in right now. And who do these people work for and vote for? I was reading last night how much money Gavin Newsom took from Alex Soros, George Soros' son, in his recall efforts. Tens of millions of dollars. So is that who's paying for this riot? Is that who's paying for the cinder blocks on the street, for the bricks that are being dropped off on the street corners? We find out right now at least 9,000 migrants are being vetted and prepared to be transferred to Guantanamo Bay as we speak. This is what America's voted for. We're also being told that some of those people who have been detained by ICE have already been deported from America in these riots that are happening right now. So whose side is Gavin Newsom on? Is he on the side of America, or is he on the side of the corporate globalist elitists who mean to destroy this country? And it's the George Soroses of the world, the Alex Soroses of the world, and these people who want to destroy our country. Gavin Newsom is suing President Trump out the wazoo to get the National Guard out, to get the Marines out. By the way, there's now just under 1,000 Marines in Los Angeles. And he's suing to get ICE out, as if his country, his state, is not part of the country. It makes zero sense. How much money did California take last year from the federal government? We're going to find that out right now from federal funding. Because last I checked, he answers to the federal government. If he doesn't want to, that's fine. Let him secede. Take your state and secede. In 2022, California received $162 billion in federal funding for state and local governments, including transfers to the state and direct fund for local entities and schools. For the 2025-2026 budget, they're projecting $170 billion, making up 35% of the state's total budget, with $135 billion for health and human services and Medi-Cal. Total federal funding for California, including direct payments to individuals and entities, was around $376 billion in 2014 and 2015. So you look at how much money this state gets, and he doesn't want to allow ICE or U.S. Customs and Border Protection in to deport these illegals, who, by the way, are taking money and food out of the mouths of citizens of this country who reside in California, who get part of that $170 billion in federal funding. So why doesn't Gavin Newsom go move to Mexico and run for them and run and worship for the Mexican people, or Guatemala or Honduras or El Salvador or Venezuela or Colombia? Because he clearly doesn't have the best interest of the American people. He's just another paid-for politician who's corrupt as heck, who doesn't want to do his job. And the people see it. Only 34% of Americans have a favorable view of Gavin Newsom right now, according to a new YouGov poll. 34%. And this is a man who wants to run for president of the United States? Good luck. And good luck to the people who donate to his campaign, the corrupt people who donate, who think they're going to get something out of it. The truth of the matter is, right now, the Marxist Dems do not have any formidable candidate to run up against J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or whoever decides to be or run for the 2028 Republican nomination. Think about it. They got rid of RFK because he was a threat to their uniparty. They got rid of Tulsi Gabbard because she was popular among Democrats. I mean, they're extincting the party of all people who think semi-rationally. You know, there's Democrats who still are, I think, rational in some sense, who don't agree on certain issues that break them from Republicans. A big one is abortion. But there are still some out there. But the Democrat Party is doing all they could to alienate themselves and bring in more Marxists, the Maxine Waters, the AOCs of the world, the Rashida Tlaibas, the Ilhan Omars, who married their brother. So this is the direction that the Marxist Dem Party is moving in. And I'm all in favor of it. Let them keep pushing this radical ideology because they'll never win another election again. 2024 was a referendum on the previous 4 years, the prior 4 years under Biden, who tried. Biden used to be a centrist. He had views that were sort of middle of the road. And the Marxists kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. His puppet masters pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. And he turned into the Marxist that he was for the last 4 years. Now, we don't know if it was him or if it was somebody else running his administration. We have to assume it was somebody else because Biden for sure was not mentally competent. He wasn't all there in the head, at least every single time we saw him on television. Think about how bad it was behind the scenes when we weren't seeing on TV. We're going to take one more quick break here. When we return, we're going to cover the mainstream media and what they're saying about this. We're going to cover President Trump and who he blames for all of this mess that we're in right now. And we're going to take you to some of the riots and the looting and the burning that's happening in California right now, and what some Dem congresswoman is saying these riots are comparable to. You're not going to believe just how stupid these people are. Folks, we're coming right back. Don't flinch. Don't move. Don't turn that dial. The Great America Show continues in just a moment. Stay with us.
I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. and I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard My Pillows absolutely free.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks for staying with us here on the Great America Show. Just as we were in commercial break there, we got some news to report to you. President Trump and his administration conducting the largest workplace operation since he took office in Nebraska at Green Valley Foods in Omaha, Nebraska. 100 illegals arrested. We have some video to bring you from that raid.
Hey, who's the sizzle lift operator?
There you go. Flipping the bird. Cameras.
Hey, who's the sizzle lift operator? Yes. I think they see that sizzle lift. Come back over here. We can find the guy in front of
So President Trump and his administration not really caring about the LA riots that they're having. These 100 folks were arrested for using fake documents or fraudulently using identities of other U.S. citizens. The owner used E-Verify, he says, and he's frustrated that he did everything he could to hire legally, but he was forced to hire illegals who were lying about who they were. Many of these illegals scattered when the officers arrived with warrant. Some were in rafters. One man hiding in a wall pulled a box cutter on an agent. He will be charged with assault on a federal officer. So who's to blame for all this? Let's ask President Trump.
Mr. President, these protests obviously started in reaction to these large-scale ICE operations in Los Angeles. Should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country?
Yeah.
And will similar protests see similar response?
As you know, we're moving murderers out of our country that were put here by Biden or the auto pen. The auto pen really did. I mean, the people, whether it's Lisa Monaco or whoever operated the auto pen, these are criminals. The people are criminals that allowed these criminals into our country. And I don't think that Biden knew what the hell he was doing. I don't think he even knew about it. But when they opened up our borders for the whole world to come in, yeah, we're going to get them out. We're getting them out. We're starting to get acknowledgement from the courts that, you know, there's a system. They come in without courts and they go out, they want trials and everything else. I think that's starting to work out now. Judges are starting to see what a terrible situation it is. Many of those people that you saw on television last night are criminals that were allowed into our country by Biden. And they want to stay. And we don't want them. And they come from jails and they come from mental institutions and they come from all over the world, not just South America. And we're not going to let them stay. And this is the first, perhaps, of many, or perhaps, if we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have them all over the country. But I can inform the rest of the country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here. We did a great job. The people, you, Christy, and Tom Holman, and all of the people, Pete Hegseth, all of the people involved did an amazing job. We stopped a disaster. And it looks like a planned disaster, this didn't just happen. They had weapons, they had tools, they had everything you needed. I mean, they were throwing iced water in bottles, in glass bottles, at officers and at soldiers. These are, you could not use the word insurrection, but you could also use the word, these are very dangerous people, they're bad people. They were met with heavy force and they folded. And they may be there a little bit tonight, they may be there a little bit, but it seems to be getting less and less because they're going there and they're met with a very heavy force. And if they weren't, you would have that city right now would be on fire. It would be burning down. The rest of it, what's left over. Because the other fire was started because they wouldn't allow water into LA. They wouldn't allow water into California because they had it all shifted out to the Pacific Ocean. And I turned it around. And I told them to do it in my first term, and they didn't do it. We had COVID, and they didn't do it. And I told them to do it. We did it in the second. Now we have billions of gallons of water flowing down. But Newsom should have done this. He's an incompetent man and an incompetent governor. Okay.
So a lot to unpack there from President Trump, mentioning a name that we Yet to hear him say about who was behind that auto pen scandal. Lisa Monaco was the former United States Deputy Attorney General, a name being floated by President Trump, the first time we've heard him say that. But he's absolutely right. This is all a doing of Joe Biden. He allowed tens of millions of illegals to pour into this country. These people needed jobs, and they've been working illegally, some of them criminals, some of them rapists, some of them drug dealers, some of them murderers. But Joe Biden allowed them into this country. He's allowed them to prosper in this country. So it's not Donald Trump's fault now that he's coming in and following rule of law. It's not his fault that they have to go. It's Joe Biden shouldn't have let them in the first place, or George Bush or Barack Hussein Obama. There's consequences to these actions. But just going back and looking to what these people are doing in LA, it's truly, truly insane. One member of Congress, a Marxist Dem, of course, from California, says this is nothing too crazy. It's people in the streets celebrating just as they do when a team wins the Super Bowl or a national championship. No, I'm not making that up. Take a listen.
Sure. Well, we have been calling for protesters to protest peacefully. That is their constitutional right. The vast majority of protesters have been peaceful. There are always a few bad actors. And yes, we think anybody who commits property damage ought to be arrested and they ought to be prosecuted. But to send in federal troops or Marines when there isn't a war atmosphere or war circumstance going on is just, it's beyond the pale. I mean, it's authoritarian flexing. It's not making anybody safer. Local law enforcement has said they can handle the protests. It's no different than when a team wins a national championship and people get overexcited and they overturn vehicles and light them on fire. Local law enforcement is prepared to handle those types of situations.
Congresswoman Linda Sanchez of California. It's no different than a team winning the national championship. No different. That's what happens when you win a national championship. Things like that. Peaceful protests. But if you listen to CNN and Brian Stelter, he'll tell you these videos you're seeing, don't believe your lying eyes.
And I've noticed, Brianna, we all live on our phones these days. We're all scrolling through social media. You've got to be careful at a delicate moment like this to look at the timestamps, look at the dates, look at when things are actually posted, and if they're really from the situation they're purporting to be. A lot of these algorithms are surfacing hours old or even days old content. So you might be looking at a video of something, wondering what's happening in LA. It's actually from 2 days ago. And that's, it only matters because it can give people a false impression of what's actually happening at a moment of unrest.
It might have happened 2 days ago. What difference does it make if it happened a day ago or 2 days ago or 3 days ago? It's the same premise. Who put that guy back on television? I thought he got fired. This is what the mainstream media is feeding you. This is the nonsense and propaganda that they're feeding you. Looters. What does looting have to do with standing up for something if you believe in it?
Loot the security guard.
That was just the Adidas store, but they didn't stop right there. They hit the Apple store. And as usual, they somehow, for some reason, always end up at CVS. A big shout out to BG on the scene on Twitter. Guy does a really good job at following these rooters and rioters. Notice all of them in face masks, covering their faces like cowards, not man enough to reveal who they are, looting and rioting and stealing. I haven't seen that many Mexican flags since being in Mexico. If you don't want to be here in America, you want to be in Mexico, you can alleviate a lot of this problem. Take your crap and go. You're here illegally. Nobody invited you here. Well, maybe Joe Biden did, but you're not welcome here anymore. You're illegal. It's time for you to go home to your country. We're not supporting you anymore. Those days are over and long gone. Folks, that's all for us tonight here on The Great America Show. We hope you'll join us back here tomorrow for The Great America Show, where our quest for truth, justice, and the American way continues, where we try to bring you the greatest news that you can possibly get anywhere with the highest quality. And that's what we're here for you for. Folks, we'll see you back here tomorrow for The Great America Show. Until then, may God bless you. May God bless America. And may God bless the great Lou Dobbs. Have a great night, everybody. And if you live in California, please stay safe.